I'm with the band. Music and interviews you're going to like.
Welcome to I'm with the Band here on the Mesh Podcast Network. I am your host, Andrew Moose. If this is your first time listening to I'm with the Band, welcome. And we hope that you subscribe to this podcast and check us out on the mesh.tv. If you're considering advertising here on the Mesh Podcast Network, it's a great way to reach a targeted audience. Plus, I've only heard that the people who listen to podcasts here on the Mesh Podcast Network are rich and they're beautiful, and all they want to do is spend money with you and your company. So go to mesh.tv, themesh.tv/advertise for more information. Now, if there's ever been a guest that basically encompasses I'm with the band, it's this guy. He's one of my best friends in life, best friends in music, North Carolina-based mandolin and bass player, Mr. Stephen Davidson. What's up, pal?
Hey.
Hey. How's it going,
the
man?
Intro there.
I know, right? I got mush mouth. What's up, man? How you been doing?
Good. Surviving.
Yeah. I think we're all all right, man. We're all right. It's good. Crazy time, man. Crazy time.
Yeah, it's been kind of nuts, I mean, still working, still trying to play, doing my best.
That's right. So, Steven, let's talk about all the projects you got going on right now, man. I know, stop me if you've heard this one before. You play with Cottle Creek. You play with the Broad Pickups. You play with the Local Boys. You play with Moose and Friends. Occasionally, when Moose and Friends frontman, doesn't want to yell at you at gigs, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna
so yeah, man. So I know the Broad Pickups. You've been working a lot with them lately, and I know that you guys have got a new album out right now. So, how'd that come about? What's up with that?
We've been trying to come out with an album for a while. I used to play bass with them, but with, like you said, playing with so many projects, my hands got full, and I had projects that are just like overbooked, honestly. But then COVID hits, and member issues and stuff like that, and now I play Mandocaster with them. And so in the meantime, we were trying to make an album, and when I joined back with them, they were in the middle of it. I jumped right on in head first, and we got it done. It was nice to really have that little bit of time in the beginning with COVID and all that, because we were able just to hunker down and knock it out. But in hindsight, also, it kind of sucks not being able to play the album live all the time like we want to, and be able to promote and show people what we've been doing.
Sure, yeah, and I think that's a lot of problems, or a lot of issues that every musician is running into right now. Especially when they're trying to pump a new project or pump a new album. You want to be out there and playing and spread the music to the masses, but man, it's just not happening, and people don't want to come out of their house, and I don't really much blame them. But thank goodness for the internet. I mean, let's be honest. If this happened 10, 15 years ago, we'd be in dire straits, but not only as a music community, but as a society, really.
Oh yeah, people will be just losing their minds, I mean, with all the live streams and everything that everybody's been doing, I mean, it's been a godsend. I mean, we've done a few long live streams and stuff too, but I can see how that has actually helped some people, because being locked down for months by yourself, depression sits in. And some people's, just like going to festivals and shows, that's people's therapy, right? And just being able to play a show is mine, it's just being the real world, and all that matters is those notes you're playing and the stuff that's getting put in the air and the people just grooving in front of you. That right there is just a huge therapeutic moment for me, and it helps a lot with stress and stuff like that. And not being able to do that here as much as I wanted to lately is it takes a toll, but you learn to cope with it.
Yeah, for sure. And there's light on the other end of the tunnel, and hopefully it's not a train, but we do see the light.
Sometimes it's hard to get yourself up out of bed. You hear the alarm is calling, but you'd rather sleep instead. And you know you gotta face them, the problems of the day. Sometimes you know you'd rather walk away, but no, you gotta keep on moving. You gotta push on through. You gotta keep on moving. You gotta push on through. It's hard to feel for certain when nothing is for sure. And it's hard to stay focused when you're living in a blur. And you're trying not to notice all the things that have occurred. And the world you know seems so absurd. But oh, you gotta keep on moving. You gotta push on through. You gotta keep on moving. You gotta push on through. It's hard to be strong now when we forget we have the strength. And it's hard to go the distance when you can't see past the brakes. And we doubt our own existence, wonder how much we can take. Like, Lord, you know, I can use a break. But no, I gotta keep on moving. I gotta push on through. I gotta keep on moving. I gotta push on through. Said it's hard to find the answers when you're too afraid to ask. And it's hard to see the future when you're living in the past. So hard to let it go now when you wanted it to last. Said, oh no, you feel it slipping fast. But oh, you gotta keep on moving. You gotta push on through. Gotta keep on moving. You gotta push on through. You gotta keep on moving. You gotta push on through. You gotta keep on moving. You gotta push on through.
Play a lot of music together, and we run around with the same musical friends. And you know, I miss, and I think that's more than any of it is I miss you, man. I miss seeing my friends. I miss seeing, you know, like our crowds. You know, it's I mean, I miss playing at the grocery store with you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
honestly, that's one of my favorite gigs.
And mine too, man. And for our audience that might not know what we're talking about, our local Lowe's Foods grocery store has bands, and they come in and play. And you're like, oh, these guys are playing at a grocery store? Yeah, we play at a grocery store. There's like 60 people in there. There's like a captive audience, and it's fantastic. It's
and they come there because there's a bar in there, and they drink, but they're also there to see the music. And they have a good time, and it's a good release for people like right after work and stuff. And you know, it's easy stop. Oh, honey, I gotta stop by the store real quick, have a couple beers, see the band.
That's right. Oh, I gotta get some eggs and milk. Oh yeah, shit, the band's here. Let's just stay here for another hour and a half and lose the wife. You know.
Yeah, you know, those little like oddball gigs. You know what I mean? That makes playing music interesting. Especially, it's like, well, I'm not under lights. I'm not under. You know what I mean? It's different, but it's cool.
Like I said, we do play a lot of music together, but we also play with other folks, and we spread our wings a little bit. We beat up highway, Interstate 40 and 77. What's your favorite gig around here, man? I know we were just talking about the grocery store gig, but do you have a favorite place?
Around here?
Yeah, like within let's say like 60 miles of Charlotte.
Honestly, my favorite place actually closed down last year, which was the Bathtub Gin.
Yeah,
that's hometown bar. I was walking distance from there, stumbled drunk home kind of deal. It was great. But I don't know, favorite gig here lately. Here lately it's been kind
of. Let's stay on the Bathtub Gin, man. Do they have any plans to open back up, or do you have any idea?
They did, but I don't know what happened. I don't, with COVID and all that. I think that put a big halt on what was going on up there. But I mean, there's some places.
Yeah. Well, it's like picking your favorite kid. It's hard to do. There's a lot of places that are near and dear. But
I really like the Visual Light Theater. Trying to keep those guys open. The Neighborhood Theater and Charlotte. Those are two of my absolute favorite places to play. Big stage, great sound guys, awesome. The stuff that musicians are looking for, big, and they do good with their patrons and everything like that. So all the support trying to keep those guys open has been really, really uplifting, honestly.
also play with the bluegrass band, the Local Boys, and the Local Boys they're a huge act, right? I mean, you guys, they play Merle Fest, and I mean, it's had a couple different iterations. The band has, correct? And they've been. I mean, you guys have been a stalwarts. I mean, how long has that band been around in one form or another?
Honestly, how long they've been around, I'm not 100% sure, but I know last year would have marked 22 years straight at Merle Fest.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've been around longer than I've been alive. Well, half of what I've been alive.
Right. Yeah. So you're not a founding member, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah. I mean, if I was, I think I would have been like 8 years old or something.
Right.
Like
But no, those guys are some serious pickers, man. They get after it. Aaron Soots, right, he's the guy that fronts that band now, correct?
Yes, he does. He's our band leader, and I'll tell you one thing: he's a hell of a leader. He's really good at it, and I have so much respect for that guy for what he does, and his professionalism is outstanding. I've learned so much on just how to handle myself when in that kind of, you know what I mean? Even when situations come up, good or bad, on actually how to handle yourself and be professional and I don't know, saying the right things.
Right. Yeah. You know, that business aspect of, you know, being a musician is something that gets overlooked a lot. And, you know, we don't really get to talk about it that much on the podcast, but, you know, it's a serious thing. You know, you have to really be able to work contracts. You have to be able to negotiate your rate. You have to be a marketing person to book your gigs. You have to be a social media manager to make sure that people know about you. I mean, there is unless you are a large outfit and have people that do that for you. I mean, usually one person carries the load in a band, and it's a lot of work.
Yes, it is. It's also herding cats. You know how that is. Yeah, but you know, when I have this thing, you know, I like to try to help as much as possible, or help as much as they will let me help, you know.
Right.
So you know, money, everything like that, you know, contracts, everything like that, that's still Aaron, and I do my best to keep up and help with the social media and looking and booking and stuff like that. So, you know, it's a legitimate business, and to make it work, like all these bands that have, you know what I mean, made it big and stuff like that. I mean, let's just take Wolfpack, just them right there. They're huge, and they did it themselves. But that also requires every member in the band pulling their weight. You know, it's like, great, you write music, you play, you're great. But on the outside, while we're not playing music, you know, we need you to do this because that's part of it. You know, I mean, it sucks sometimes because, I mean, really, who wants to just sit in front of a computer and write emails all day?
Yeah, not me.
Yeah, exactly. But that's a part of it, you know. Who wants to get, you know what I mean, taxes together to give all the guys, you know? That's a whole another beast, and that's where Aaron has absolutely crushed it, you know. Right. So really thankful for that guy.
1, 2, 3.
the band that you play with, Cottle Creek. And I've known the Cottle Creek guys for a long time, and you guys have played in Hickory quite a bit, and or at least a couple times. And how long have you been with those guys? And what's the future look like for Cottle Creek? Because I'm interested in that for sure.
Cottle Creek, they're doing a lot of family things right now. Because we were hot and heavy there for a while, and things, just being in the band, family kind of gets neglected here and there.
For sure.
But, taking it slow. We got some things in the works. Still working on an album to get that out, just really want to play with them. We did a couple live streams with them and all. We're still planning on Groverfest for next year. That's something that we do every year. Well, we at least try to. You've had your hands in there, and Moose and Friends been playing there the last few years, right?
Yeah. We've played Groverfest the last few years, and I've helped with Groverfest the last couple of years as well. And it's a really fun festival. It's headed up by Travis Weddington. It's his brainchild, and he's one of the guys in Cottle Creek. And Groverfest is every year in June, and typically in Union Grove, and it's a really good, fun get together where a lot of musicians that might not necessarily get to see one another a whole lot all get to congregate and play music for the weekend. And it's if you get to go. If we get to have it this year, I'd recommend all of our listeners to go check it out. You can go to groverfest.com and get tickets and all that good stuff and find out the lineups. Yeah. And we've had some huge acts play Groverfest in the last, we've had 14 years of Groverfest and 13 years of Groverfest, something like that. And there's been some big old acts that come through there.
Yeah, up and rising stars like our friends with Town Mountain and played there. Larry Keel, Jack Lawrence. Last year we were trying. We almost had Peter Rowan. There were some things, the Mantras, Big Something. Man, I miss festivals.
Yeah, festivals are great, man. That's it's a great time, man. And, even if you do have to play at the festivals, they're still really fun. It might even be more fun when you get to play at them.
Yeah. And, Groverfest is one of those festivals. It's kind of like the Big What or Mantra Bash or something like that. You can go on and do Floyd and Merlefest and all that. It's one of those festivals. It's like, all right, well, we're playing this, so block everything out. We're here for the weekend.
Right.
So, and that's the great thing about doing festivals is we don't get to hang out a lot of them because, you get booked. You're working. Right. So you got to, it's go play, pack up, and move to the next one. Hell, I remember doing 3 festivals in a weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 3 different festivals all the way across North Carolina. But, there's some that I was like, I don't want to leave. I want to hang out here.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. But, and that's just like one of those festivals that you just block the whole weekend out just to have a blast. Enjoy the scenery,
right. Yeah. Let's keep our fingers crossed for Groverfest 2021 because that'll be a great weekend. Back just kind of you were mentioning touring across North Carolina. You've done your fair share of touring in your day, man. I used to play with Sponge Cake and the Fluff Ramp back in the day, and you did some serious touring. Let's talk about that group for a minute. It was you and your friend Davey, rest in peace. With that band. Tell our listeners about that. Tell our listeners about that because it was that project I think was special and really was able to spread their wings and really you really touched a lot of people with that group.
Yeah. We hooked up with the Merry Pranksters out there on the West Coast. Merle Saunders. Good God, man, that was so fun. Hell, we did a tour with David Gans. We really got into the Dead community out there, just traveling around, and then that was what'd you call it? How was this described to me before? A beautiful chaos. It was really just I mean, just imagine a bunch of hippie kids get together and it's like, oh, I just want to play music. All right, well, let's go do it. How are you going to feed yourself? I don't know. We'll figure it
It
out.
doesn't matter right now.
Hey, we got money for gas. We can get there. I mean, we'll stop at a Holiday Inn before 9 o'clock, and I'll kick open the back door for the rest of them, and we'll go eat breakfast.
Yeah, man. That's a good summation, I think, man. That's how that band rolled.
Yeah, and before it ended, we were set up with we did South by Southwest one year, and we were set up to do it the next year, Terrapin Hills, a bunch of other festivals. Our booking agent at the time was talking to Bonnaroo. I mean, it was right there on the verge.
Yeah.
And you know, family that comes into play when stuff like that, and when the picture shows up and sees where everything's heading. Some people kind of, you know what I mean? The brain starts fucking boggling there a little bit, and we got to retract. But sad that it was over, but absolutely ecstatic and grateful that it happened.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And as you and I met as Sponge Cake was winding down, and and I consider myself lucky, man, that you came into my life, and I love you, and you're one of my best friends, and I'm glad we got to do this today.
Yeah.
And so if the listeners want to find any of your bands out there, I mean, it might take the next 15 minutes for you to rattle off all of them. So I'm just going to put them in the show notes. So you guys go check out Cottle Creek. You guys go check out the Raw Pickups and the Local Boys and Moose and Friends. And you can go on the internet and find out about the Sponge Cake and the Fuff Rambler Boys and all that good stuff. So, Steven, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Love you.
Love you too, man. This has been I'm With the Band here on the Mesh Podcast Network. Be sure to be kind to one another and have a great show.
Davidson, I done did everything that needs done. Oh, it's me. Why can't I see? Best believe it well enough alone. Those daylight nights couldn't stay out of fights. They keep haunting me in memory. But there's one in every crowd, I'm crying out loud. Why was it always turning out to be Dave? Where does he go? The good Lord only knows. It seemed like it was just the other day when I was down at Green Gables, just honking them tables, generally below it on my hard-earned pay. My Eddie broke blues, and danced holes in my shoes. There weren't another other way to be. Oh, lovable losers, the no-account boozers, and honky-tonk heroes like Adam. Yeehaw! Day, and I was down at Green Gables, just hawking them tables, and generally blowing all my hard-earned pay. My Eddie broke blues, I danced holes in my shoes. There weren't another other way to be for them lovable losers that don't count boozers, and honky-tonk heroes like Steven. me. Oh, them lovable losers that don't count boozers, and honky-tonk heroes like me. Oh, them lovable losers that don't count boozers, and honky-tonk heroes like me. No doubt leaving soon, I done did everything that needs done. Woe is me, why can't I see? Best believing well enough alone. Oh, that's right.
Nice. Yeah, that was fun.